Hi, friends. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Heartland Bengali. Today I have with me Infinity back once again to speak on a topic. Infi, hi.
Hello, thank you for having me. Jai Shri Ram to your listeners.
Thank you. To give a brief background about the topic that I would be asking questions to Infi on. In 2018, India decriminalized homosexuality. So that was about 4 years, 5 years back. In 2023, this year, the Supreme Court has agreed to take up a petition seeking the recognition of homosexual marriage. I have a couple of points which I have like sort of in the shape of bullet points, which I want to highlight. So, has agreed to take up a petition seeking recognition of homosexual marriage. Now, after the acceptance of this petition by the Supreme Court, the BJP government has filed an affidavit saying that gay marriage and heterosexual marriage is not the same thing. There is a difference between decriminalization of gay marriage and legalization of gay marriage, homosexual marriage. While gay marriage is not unlawful, there is no recognition or no legitimacy for gay marriage. This is what the BJP, the present government, has said. The Supreme Court has heard everything, and the Supreme Court has set a date that a panel would hear these arguments. And the date is it starts from 18th of April till as long as it goes. Now, what happens here is this is a topic which is bound to throw up, opinions across both ends of the spectrum. To the normal mind, this is an inclusive topic. This is a topic which should, the subject of gay marriage is a kind of an idea that appears inclusive. However, there could be hidden meanings, there could be hidden implications, there could be hidden agenda to that. There could be. So, to like kind of understand them better, we have Infi with us, who's going to be talking a little bit about it. So my first question to Infi is that this first decriminalization of gay relationship, which is fine, but then this legalization of gay marriage, etc., etc. Do you think that there's an agenda behind, somebody is pushing it? Over to you.
Yeah, so there's definitely an agenda behind it, and a very sinister agenda for that matter.
Okay.
First of all, I should like to put it all that I have fully supported the decriminalization of homosexuality.
Yes.
That law was completely a colonial relic, and it was high time we got rid of that. I mean, as a nation state, as a civilization, we should not care what anyone does inside their bedrooms. So that's completely I supported that. But this marriage thing is a slippery slope because if you look at the pride parades and LGBTQ parades that have happened over the years around the globe, but especially let's talk about India. In Delhi, when a few years ago there was a pride parade, there were slogans of Free Palestine. There were chants of take back CA, take back the farm laws, bring back Article 370. In December of 2021, there was an NGO that propped up in Himachal, which I heard that there was some protest by the locals and it shut down now, but they operated for a good over a year. And the name of the NGO was Himachal Cure Collective. So they did few sort of parades for these LGBTQ people, and they teamed up with the local governments. They went to the government hospitals, schools, and Anganwadi sort of thing. And in that, the topic of homosexuality took a backseat, and instead they were attacking Brahmins. That denounce all the Brahmin rituals, denounce all the Hindu rituals. Hindu dharma is against homosexuality and all that thing. So you see, there is a very coordinated agenda behind everything that comes in the names of progressivism, diversity, inclusion, and equality. The agenda is very clearly anti-India. The agenda is very clearly anti-Hindu. All these LGBTQ rights movements and homosexuality right movements have nothing to do with homosexuals. In fact, I mean, Hindu the civilization have always accepted these people, always accepted
Exactly.
the third gender. So
Exactly.
they don't need to teach us that. And moreover, they are not even talking about their rights. They talk, if there suppose there is a 1 hour conference of homosexuality in JNU, they will talk about homosexuals for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. The entire rest of the conference will be about how
We
Hindu
can
dharma is
dismantle
against
the
them.
system. Yeah.
Yeah, dismantle Brahminical patriarchy, dismantle, give reservations and all that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So there is a very clear motive behind all this, to destabilize the nation, to destabilize the Hindu resurgence. So yeah, this is what it is.
Okay, so what we're seeing here is a part of what is probably happening across a lot of other countries also globally. So, an established order, which is probably a little nationally assertive, an assertive government, government which is probably trying to create a kind of an identity, whether it's in France, whether it's in Russia, whether it's in
Yeah.
India. So, and whichever is the predominant structure that sort of governs this kind of an identity, that forms a base of this kind of an identity, is the one that they're targeting. So,
Yeah.
your concern is that LGBT rights, just like Black Lives Matter, is not the main agenda. That's a kind of a
Yes.
cover. And
Yes.
under this cover, there are different agenda groups that are working towards a particular, a particular aim, a particular design, which is not good for the nation.
Larger society.
Okay, so why are they doing it? Is it?
Okay.
Let me elaborate my question. Why are they doing it? For you to answer, for you to be able to, understand. Is the reason that they're doing it because they want to promote consumerism, or is the reason they're doing this is because they want to probably destabilize the country for any other reason? Over to you.
Both of them, actually. There is a very clear consumer capitalist agenda as well, and there is a larger goal of destabilization as well.
Okay.
The capitalist agenda, if you look at United States, the current market for gender transitioning is stands at $2 billion, and it has a compound annual growth rate of 10 to 15%.
Okay.
And no surprises, the biggest players in gender transitioning is Pfizer and Gates Foundation. So there is a very clear cut goal of capitalism to sell medicines, to medications, to surgeries, from all these kind of things. And the larger goal of destabilization is also there, because it doesn't take much time for these things to turn anti-national and complete degenerate. Like, if you accept this thing of homosexuality, legalize same-sex marriage and all these things, in no time you will see that they will export another thing from West, which is like free the nipple and drag shows and all those things that are happening in the West. People dressing in obscene clothes in front of 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and women roaming around in societies topless. So
and making
this
it
is,
a mandate in schools. They
yeah,
would
yeah,
organize drag shows and they would force the kids to watch it, would force the kids
yes,
to sit through it. Yeah.
yes,
Please carry on.
if parents resisted, they will be arrested. So I mean, it's very diabolical what they're doing with the kids there in the West. And then this what was I saying? Yeah. So the anti-national angle is obviously there, because they will attack nationalism, they will attack the social hierarchy, the cultural customs, and everything. So the goal clearly is to further West's imperialist agenda in the third world, in countries which are not subservient to them. And it's no doubt that the most of the funds for these organizations come from the corporations and their fronts in West. So yeah, these are the two goals.
Okay, so at the one end we have hyper consumerism, where they reduce your identity to almost nothing, so that you are also left confused about your identity at one end, and the other end is from the point of view of overpowering and subverting the government if the government is not listening to you. And probably if it is a country which you cannot outright invade, or you cannot outright start bombing. Okay, so that sounds like an evil agenda. So then are we then saying that this whatever's happening in India today in terms of LGBT rights, in terms of all of them, then in that case, under that angle, then this legalizing of gay marriage becomes a part of that bigger umbrella of plan which you're saying they have in store for India?
Yes, because legalize gay marriage. I mean, what exactly does this mean? Because if you are talking about, let's say you legalize, and tomorrow some gay couple goes to a temple and says that we want to get married, and the temple rejects. So according to law, they'll be able to file the case against the temple because they are discriminating. But a temple is not bound to follow the rules of the state. They are not bound to follow the rules of the constitution. They are a religious institution. They will follow the religious diktats. So in Hindu customs, marriage, or what we call as vivah, is a heterosexual union. I mean, homosexuals are allowed to live together, but they are not allowed to be part of the custom known as vivah, because it is by definition heterosexual. So if you legalize same-sex marriage, it becomes a very good cover to attack all the customs. And this has already started happening. As I said, they did it in Himachal. And just a few days ago, in fact, I think last week, some feminist and LGBTQ magazine, they went to Tamil Nadu and found out this ritual in which when a girl first has her period, there is some puja that happens in Tamil Nadu. It's a local custom. It's not pan-India. And they said that this custom is objectifying women. This custom is, anti-feminist. This custom is anti-homosexual. So let's stop this custom. So in the cover of legalize homosexual marriage and feminism and all that, it's a very comforting place to attack Hindu customs, and only Hindu customs. You will not see them attack masjids. They will never say that Quran is anti-feminist. They will never say that Bible is anti-homosexual. In fact, Bible has, literal verses that says to kill homosexuals.
Some of the most violent verses against homosexuals.
Yeah, so they will never say about anything about the Semitic religions. It only Hindus that gets attacked. So it's a very slippery slope if you accept these things.
Two things. There's as far as it's why just Hinduism. Homosexual marriage is probably not there in Islam or in Christianity also. So when we talk about legalizing homosexual marriage, if you bring in the angle of religion, I don't think any of the religions have homosexual marriages in them.
Yep.
So
because see, marriage by definition is heterosexual. The very agenda of marriage is heterosexual and it's natalist. You get married because you want to have kids. Homosexual can't have kids.
Procreation,
so,
yes.
Yeah, so you can live together, you can be like a normal couple, but the institution of marriage is unfortunately out of your bounds. I mean, it's not discrimination, it's just every choice has a consequence. If you choose to live a certain a different type of life, there will be consequences, and that's how life is. So
okay. Right. Before I get back once again to this issue of Supreme Court, if this is an agenda, and if this is what Western countries, more specifically, let's say United States. I had a couple of weeks back, I had an interview with RT, and we were discussing the same thing. This was on the occasion of Vivek Ramaswamy throwing in his hat into the presidential ring. And I did talk about how wokeism has become a geopolitical tool and how that is being exported to countries who are not outright enemies of the United States, but who the United States would very much want to have under control, countries like France or Poland or right here India. Now that this is being peddled, this is being thrown around, this is being used as an agenda, there must be somebody who's funding them, somebody or some groups, or I don't know.
Yeah, actually,
where do you think they get their funds from?
Yeah, the funds emerge very clearly from United States. I will go back to a few years back. I think it was 2012 or 2013, in which CIA declassified a file in which they showed that during the 80s, in France, they appropriated, they actually funded and safeguarded a lot of liberal left philosophers. They were liberals and they were left, but they were anti-communist, so they were against the Soviet Union. And those philosophers pioneered in the philosophy of Michael Foucault and his theories on sexuality. And from there came all these ideology of queer theory and transgenderism and all that. And in 1996, CIA created a separate organization in their department, ANGLE, Angel they call it. It's Associate Network for Gay, Lesbians, Bisexual, and Trans, some sort. Okay. In that, they promised that they will be inclusive for gays, lesbians in their organization, and they will fund NGOs and intellectuals and other globally as well. Right. So this is the root. This is the root of all the liberal ideologies, not just homosexuality. Liberalism was used by America in the 20th century to destabilize all the anti-colonial and all the classical left movements. And so liberalism has now become America's open tool. It was a covert tool back in 20th century. Now it is their open tool. It is their geopolitical, intellectual geopolitical weapon, sort of. Okay. And it was the American corporations from Wall Street and Silicon Valley who few years back started this trend of having a Pride Month and changing their DPs to rainbow colors and all that sort of thing. And then it proliferated to rest of the world. And they used Netflix and Disney to make this kind of homosexual stories and so on and so forth. So yeah, this is what. And
changing characters and bringing in colored character and
yes,
in white
and
story.
all this is still fine. I mean, if Netflix wants to create a homosexual love story, no one can stop them to create. But they are now, I mean, the United States corporations, their NGOs, they are now funding, like, in the name of sex education, in the name of homosexual sensitization, they are funding textbooks with such graphics and such stories in them that they are nothing less than porn. I mean, they are showing sexual intercourse between homosexual to primary school kids. And
I know I saw that in a friend's post in a friends of mine's post just about a couple of days back. Navid Nasser, he's an Iranian friend of mine who's staying in the United States, and the picture is so bad. I was telling Aditya Chaturvedi in another chat of ours that the picture is so vulgar that I wouldn't even want to talk about it here on YouTube. And they're providing these on textbooks and they're showing these to kids in schools.
Exactly. That the NGO that I was talking about from Himachal, they also tried doing the same. And then the parents resisted, so they have shut down. But I mean, that's just one organization that has shut down. This is an Hydra. Many will come. Many are still there. So yeah, I mean, you accept one part of this, and then it's just it just proliferates. It's just like it's like a nuclear bomb. It's like an explosion that just spreads.
It's like cascading effect. You open the floodgate, one gets in, and then it's game over kind of a thing. So back to probably my last question is that now we have a 18th April and Supreme Court has decided on a hearing, and it could go any way. It could go this way, it could go that way. Incidentally, I had marked a tweet from Kanwal Sibal, who's the ex-Foreign Secretary of India. I can't find it somehow now, where he talked about the fact that, whichever country in Europe and in other parts of the world have legalized homosexual marriage, have done it through legislation. Whoever has not has done it through legislation. So what Mr. Sibal was expressing is that what is the Supreme Court steering hurry to rush into an area where you probably need legislation, where you probably need votes in order to decide. My question, the warning gong that comes into my mind is that Supreme Court is not elected. It's not the representative of people. People have not voted it to power. So if passing a judgment like this is, somebody who's not been elected by anyone passing a judgment on something which is absolutely vital, now that we've discussed this with you, which is absolutely vital to the preservation of the framework of a society. So if on the off chance that they pass a verdict and they legalize homosexual marriage, how do you think this might affect? or what you think people should watch out for, people should be alert about, people should be careful about going forward?
See, I'll say this one thing. The affidavit that government has filed
Mm-hmm.
in the longer run means nothing. This thing is coming. Homosexual marriages will be legalized. Maybe not on 18th April, maybe not next month, maybe not next year, but it will happen soon. It's an infinite game.
Mm-hmm.
The financial masters behind all this, they are not going to stop. This will come. You have to constantly keep opposing it. And so far, the opposition to all things woke in India is very meager. I mean, it's there in patches, like some village in Himachal will resist it, but largely there is not a proper right wing to oppose all this radical left ideologies. So this will come.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back to your question about what to watch out for, it's all those things that I said. It will soon turn into a very aggressive anti-Hindu agenda. I mean, you have already seen feminists attack Kanyadan. You have already seen feminists attack the tradition of Mangal Sutra, the tradition of Sindoor, and all that.
The Bindi
So
thing, that
Bindi
that
thing,
yeah,
yeah.
that
I
Tanishq,
mean,
I think, that Tanishq
all
had,
things,
yeah.
that ritual,
Mm.
they will attack. So homosexuality will just become a larger weapon to do so. And with this, they can very well attack temples as well, because obviously traditional temples are not going to accept these things. And so it will become an excuse for government to meddle with temple affairs. Hindu temples are already under their control.
Yeah,
We
which they
already pay
have
taxes
meddled
to them.
enough already. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have already criminalized Bali all over almost. Almost Bali is gone from temples nowadays. So this is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is, soon you will see people, these NGO funded liberals and women feminists and radical left people going around the streets of India doing the same degenerate garbage that they do in West to India. You know, movements like Free the Nipple, like drag shows, and publish books to teach kids how to be in more inclusive. I mean, Chandrachud just a few days ago, I think he said, I think that we need to use more inclusive pronouns. So yeah, these things are going to come.
So these things are slowly making an entry, and this
Yeah,
is this is an
yes,
infinite battle that they are fighting, and we need to be aware of it.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
okay. I was about to ask you something else also, as a follow-up question to this, and it completely has slipped my mind. Uh, which means that there is a certain amount of awareness build up, which is absolutely imperative, which is absolutely essential for our country, for our people,
Yes.
which is lacking.
Yeah, because see, there is a misunderstanding amongst the crowd that for an ideology to be accepted in a nation, majority people have to be in support of it, which is not true. You don't need majority people supporting it. You just need certain powerful organizations to be under your control, like the judiciary, like some government institutions, and you need a very stubborn majority, or stubborn
Minority, yeah.
of minority of university students, of media people, of intellectuals to support it. Once you have these things, you don't need the larger society to accept. The larger society is already fragmented. A larger society cannot come together in a snap to create a coordinated movement to oppose all these things. Once you have the elites of the nation under your thumb, you can easily promote all that you want to promote. So, as I just said a few weeks ago, in a Facebook post, that larger Indian society is still conservative. Larger Indian society is still traditional. You talk to the average chap on the street, he will be conservative. His family will be traditional.
Yes,
But
yes.
when you see the establishment push all the progressive garbage, it's not that they are in consensus with the people on the street. They just do what they feel like doing to, appease their foreign counterparts. So, yeah, this is what.
All right. All right, Infi, it was great chatting with you once again. And thank you,
Yeah, it was great
viewers.
to be here.
Thank you, viewers. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you like the video so much that you want to share with people, you can do that. And I would also like to add one more thing. If you think you have an opinion which is solid enough and which is strong enough that you want it to be presented, please write to me with your mail ID, and I'll get in touch with you, and we can have that Adda over here in Heartland. Thank you for watching. Infi, thanks.
Thank you.